Why hello there everybody, Tony here and welcome back to another episode of TTBurger Game Reviews. And today this is episode 146 and this is another multi-part review here, and I know we've been pumping these out like crazy over and over, and a lot of multi-parts here and stuff, but can't help it, there's a lot of multi-part reviews here and stuff, a lot of civilians like and stuff. And today we are on episode 146, part 1 of, once again, 2. Yep, part 1 of 2 again. Yeah, I know. So many two-part reviews and stuff. And I promise I do more than 2-part reviews, and I promise I'll do that. And that's what I'm saying there. Now, for today's episode, I'm gonna be doing something for the first time that I've not done on this channel at all. Review an RPG. Yeah, I know. I mean, I haven't reviewed any RPGs on this channel, and I am a fan of RPGs, like a lot of them. Mainly from ones on the PlayStation 2, PS3, and PS4, and more. Now, I remember when like getting into the RPGs for the first time was like it was probably when Final Fantasy VII hit the US market and stuff, and I remember like being all about and stuff. But that's when I got into them. The first RPG I ever played was Quest 64 on the Nintendo 64. But that game sucked ass and was total garbage, so I didn't even care. I didn't even counting it because, yeah, not worth it. But yeah, like, Final Fantasy was like how I got into RPGs and stuff, like that's how I first learned about the company SquareSoft and everything. The PlayStation itself had a bunch of RPGs on its system, like, had the Final Fantasy games, we had Brave Prince and Musashi, we had Vagrant Story, Parasite Eve, Legend of Legaia, Legend of Dragoon, Chrono Cross, Legend of Mana, and a lot of 2D ones like Beyond the Beyond and Rhapsody, a Musical Adventure and stuff like that, and more. And I don't own all of these. I don't own all these games that I'm mentioning here. I own I own a lot of them. I don't own all the ones I'm mentioning there. Mainly like Beyond the Beyond, Legend of Mana, and Rhapsody Musical Adventure. I'm not a big fan of 2D RPGs, so I'm just saying there. And I did have Legend of Legaia, but I didn't really care for it that much. I mean, it was a good RPG, but just like not really it just something about it just was kind of off for me. But I have Legend of Dragoon and stuff, and the other ones I mentioned. But for today's episode, I'm gonna be talking about my favorite RPG, JRPG, whatever you call it, or RPG on the PlayStation itself, and that is the Parasite Eve franchise. And like, how did Parasite Eve start off and stuff? Well, those of you who don't know, Parasite Eve did not start off as a video game. It started off as a Japanese science fiction horror novel by Hideaki Sena, or however you pronounce it, Hideaki Sena or whatever, which was a book published in 1995, and two years later there was a film based on the book. I never seen the movie or read the book, but the games here were kind of a sequel to the novel and the movie itself, but as I haven't seen them, I really can't say anything. But this review will be broken up into 2 parts. Part 1, we're going to look at the original Parasite Eve, and Part 2, we're going to look at Parasite Eve 2. And I know there's also on the PSP, PlayStation Portable, the Third Birthday, and I'm not going to be looking at that because that game sucks ass. It has nothing to do with Parasite Eve at all. It's pretty much a disgrace to Parasite Eve. It doesn't even belong in the Parasite Eve franchise, is what I'm trying to say. But what I'd like to talk about here. Let's get started with talking about the original Parasite Eve, released in 1998-1999 for the PlayStation, and this game's on 2 discs here, actually 3 if you count the little collector demo disc here and stuff too, which I have not touched because I have these games except for Bushido Blade on here. But let's get started with Parasite Eve on the PlayStation, known as the cinematic RPG. And when I first got into Parasite Eve, like, I was amazed at like it was kind of a survival horror RPG. Like, it had like Resident Evil like elements and RPG elements in it and stuff. And I liked the concept because like there were a lot of RPGs that involved like wizards and warriors and knights and stuff like that, which I did like, but it was overdone at the time, and I wanted something new and fresh and stuff. And what we got here was what Parasite Eve gave us and stuff. And it's not a perfect RPG. Like I say many times, with games, there's problems. I gotta take points off for it. But I'm gonna talk about that later on here. let's get started with talking about the story. And boy, oh boy, the story, we have a lot to say here because the story is freaking epic. It's an awesome story. The story takes place in New York City on Christmas Eve, where we see our main protagonist, Bria, who's 25 years old, and she works for the NYPD. She's a cop, and she's going to see a play with her boyfriend in New York. And she gets there, and chaos happens. One of the actresses of the play, she pretty much, her name's Melissa Pierce. She just ignites everyone and starts everyone on fire in the theater and on stage. And the only person who survives is our heroine, Bria herself. And she wonders, like, how did she survive? And then Melissa tells her that her mitochondria will be free. And it's a mystery trying to find out how Aya survived and what the mitochondria is and what's going on here. Why is this person named Melissa Pierce doing all this stuff? And she transforms into someone named Eve, which is our main antagonist there. There's more to the story, but I'll get to it later on, because like I know RPGs are very story driven, and this one's definitely story driven here, definitely. The story is mostly told through like in-game cutscenes and stuff like that, and pre-rendered cutscenes as well. But I'll talk about that in the graphics and stuff later on. And that's it for the story there. Like, the story is really big. It takes place in New York. It takes place during 6 days of the whole mitochondria incident. In the 6 days and stuff, like something new happens each time. You learn more and more about the mitochondria and what's going on in New York and stuff. And the story is gonna keep you on its feet, especially with the supporting characters as well, like Daniel, your partner, Kunihiko Maeda, who's pretty much this Japanese scientist who dealt with mitochondria when it first attacked in Japan, and of course you got like your partners at the police department too. But like you play as Aya the whole time, and that's the best way to go, definitely. And you're trying to stop Eve and put an end to all this once and for all. And there's multiple endings too, and in order to get the true ending, you must play the EX game when you beat the game, and I'll explain that later on. But let's get back on topic here. For the presentation wise, the game does not disappoint here. Parasite Eve is one of the best looking PlayStation games of all time, if not a couple complaints I have with it. Parasite Eve's character models look fantastic and animate really well in the pre-rendered cutscenes and in game too. They walk like humans. They animate like humans. They animate like real people for the most part. Although I will admit, I don't understand why a lot of the character models have these big ass looking eyes and stuff. It just seems a little out of place and kind of weird. Because like if you look at Bria like in the cutscenes and stuff, her eyes are big. And along with like Daniel's and Kunihiko Maeda's eyes, stuff like that, it just, a lot of them have big eyes for some reason. I don't know why. But that's just me though. I mean, I'm not saying there's a turn off. It's just that it just looks kind of weird looking and just kind of out of place compared to the other graphic stuff with their eyes looking and stuff. But it's understandable, definitely. But I'm not gonna make a big deal about harping on that stuff because like it's stupid to complain about. The backgrounds are pre-rendered backgrounds and stuff, and the backgrounds look very detailed. They're very colorful. It makes you feel like you're in New York City with the mitochondria incident happening. Like all the backgrounds are pre-rendered and they're very colorful. A lot of colors to them. Like you go like in this city, the city looks really nice. Like the museum you go to looks nice to learn more about mitochondria. The police department is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite areas in Central Park, and the hospital and stuff too. They all look fantastic looking. They all look fantastic looking, and also the frame rate is smooth throughout the entire game. So you don't have to worry about any slowdown at all. Frame rate is very smooth. It runs at a smooth 30 frames per second, and it does its job definitely. Now for the sound, I gotta say that sound is also pretty good for the most part. There's no voice acting in this game, but it's just all text, like how a lot of SquareSoft RPGs were, like how Final Fantasy was and stuff like that, and Xenogears and Chrono Cross and stuff. And here, this is no surprise here because because there's so much content on the discs and stuff, they didn't have the space to add voice acting in it. But still, I'm fine with it. You'd still hear grunts from like Aya when she gets hit and stuff like that from the other characters. So it has a little bit of voice, but not much, but very little voice. But it's not, for the most part, it's just through text. The music is my favorite part of Parasite Eve. Like, I love the music, especially the song when like you're in Central Park walking around. That's my favorite track in the whole game. It's one of my favorite tracks of all time, and stuff. And of course, like the music, especially when you fight an enemy too, you got that upbeat battle song that has like the bass guitar in it, and it just like you just want to like play air bass guitar and stuff like that and jam along with it while you're playing. But unfortunately, you cannot, because if you were to do that, then you would lose the fight, obviously. But yeah, that's just me though, and like it's like even the sound of Aya's feet walking sound good too. Like if you hear the echoing of Aya's feet, depending on where you're at, like if you're outside or inside a small room, you'll hear echoing of her feet moving and stuff, and that's pretty cool too. I know DX fan 19 said that in his review. I give him credit for there, but I do agree with what DX fan said. So props goes to you, buddy, because I loved your review, and I agree with you that the third birthday is garbage. But yeah, let's just backtrack here. Gameplay is awesome. I love the game, and just like not without some of the problems I have with it, but the gameplay, I like the gameplay. I mean, I have no problems with the gameplay. It's basically a typical Japanese RPG and stuff, but like it's a horror theme that takes place in America. What I like about Parasite Eve is that like I said before, it doesn't involve like wizards or like swordsmen or knights or anything like that. Here it involves a human woman in near your city who's a police officer, and she's shooting them with her pistol and stuff like that, or her club and stuff. And that's really cool there on how the setting has changed a lot from games like Final Fantasy and Chrono Cross and Vagrant Story and stuff. And here it's something different and new, and I really like it. And of course, like the battle system is basically like it has random battles, and you can't see the enemies until the battle starts and stuff. And you basically just shoot them with your gun or your club, or hit them with your club and stuff. And it's really cool. Definitely, it's really cool that like how different this was in a good way. And I really liked how different it was and stuff. It's just really cool. And like you don't have to worry about running out of ammo, because there's lots of ammo to find as long as you remember at the beginning, when your backup arrives, to ask the cop to give you some bullets, because like it'll keep you occupied for a while. You don't have to worry about scavenging for ammo and stuff. And yeah, and like you also have some cool ass creatures that you fight as well. Of course, like Melissa, aka Eve, you got like you fight like these weird giant frogs, and like they're all infected by mitochondria, and you fight like a three-headed Cerberus dog and stuff too, and named Shiva, who's pretty much the cop. I know it's kind of spoiling, who was like pretty much the cop's dog, Baker, like Lieutenant Baker's dog and stuff, and all that stuff. And you pretty much are just like fight snakes, you fight bats, and like jelly creatures and stuff. Like they all fit the game. Some of them can be a little bit out of place and veered too random and stuff, but still, I'm okay with that. And of course, like you not only are you spending time fighting enemies, stuff, trying to get a point A to point B, you need to solve puzzles, like finding key cards, and like trying to like example trying to find fuses and stuff like that to turn power back on, and more. And you're basically it's basically like it shows what happens with Ayabria during the 6 days this whole incident happened and stuff. And I should also mention here that like Ayabria is actually part Japanese and part American there, and I like the name Ayabria, and Ayabria is actually a cool ass character. Ayabria is a tough as nails chick, and she doesn't let shit get in her way. She's a tough as nails person. She gets surprised and shocked when she finds out stuff about her past and everything like that and stuff. But she's a tough as nails protagonist, and she's actually really one of my favorite video game protagonists of all time. And if it weren't for this game, we would never have known about Ayabria or any of them and stuff, and that's pretty cool there. Now I gotta get to some of the complaints. First off, this game is not very long. It's a short game, and for an RPG, this is kind of a little bit of a nitpick here, because usually RPGs are like 20 hours or so, but this game is only like 10 hours. Sure, after you beat the game, you get the EX mode and stuff, where you can get like the true ending and go to the Chrysler building to like get the true ending, which will take a long ass time. There's like about like 100 floors and stuff like that and stuff. I think I don't remember, but like yeah, like you want to tackle that Chrysler building. Yeah, to get the true ending, you have to do that. But I'm not playing the EX game mode because I didn't want to spoil what the EX mode was like, so I'm playing the original mode here. And like it gets very epic at the end there, but just like I wish this game was a little bit longer. My second complaint is that like be sure you hold down the run button the whole time, because Aya moves so damn slow when she walks. When she walks, she walks like she's tiptoeing a step each time. She moves so slowly. She's so damn slow when she walks. I mean, I know when you walk you're slow, but here she's super slow to where you're not gonna want to walk at all. You're just gonna want to hold down that run button the whole time. And even then, Aya doesn't move that much faster. So Aya moves kind of slow, especially when she walks. That's another complaint I have there. And that's pretty much all the complaints I have with it exactly. And like that's pretty much what I can say about Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve was definitely a great game because this was the only way to learn about Parasite Eve and stuff like that, because like the book was not released in the States until 2007, and the movie, I don't know about what happened to the movie. I know the movie, you can watch the movie with English subtitles, which is what I would do, because I'd rather watch that than have it dubbed, because I do not like English dubs at all, especially when the lip syncing don't match up and stuff. So yeah, like, but just like nowadays I'm sure it's easy to watch the movie, but back then this was the only way to learn about Parasite Eve in general and stuff. This is what I'm trying to say here, and I upgraded that not to not appear in the novel or the movie. So like this was what was her introduction to Parasite Eve and stuff. Is what I'm trying to say. And like I said, it is kind of a short game, like 10 hours long, which is kind of short for RPG style, but still, it's definitely worth owning in your collection if you want to play an RPG where you are a cop with the gun you find has like some weird power that you doesn't know about and stuff, then this is the way to go. So my final thoughts here are: if you want an RPG on the PlayStation, and if you kind of got tired of Final Fantasy and stuff, or Chrono Cross and all of them, Parasite Eve will not disappoint you at all. It's definitely worth it aside from the flaws I have with it. Due to the complaints I have, the score I'll be giving it is a 9 out of 10 because it's the best score I can give it, because I don't like how slow Aya moves and stuff like that, and the length of the game, which is only 10 hours long, but still, like, it's definitely worth owning in your collection of RPGs, JRPGs, whatever you call it, and PlayStation games and more. And that's pretty much all I gotta say here. That's it for episode 146, part 1 of 2. Stay tuned for episode 146, part 2, where we take a look at the sequel, Parasite Eve 2, released in the year 2000. And how does this game fare from its predecessor? Find out. But all I gotta say is, it's Tony. Peace and out. Have a great day. If you like what you see here, subscribe, like the video, comment down below, join my Discord group, TTBurger Games United. We're always looking for more people to join, and link in the description below. That's all I gotta say. Peace out, everyone, and see you all in episode 146, part 2 of 2.